Welcome to our channel, where financial tips from experts are at your fingertips. Today we'll delve into a story of a young woman named Caitlyn, who recently graduated with a master's in cybersecurity and landed a promising job. Despite the excitement of starting her career, Caitlyn finds herself in a troubling situation involving her mother's request for financial support during her retirement. Her mother, who is only 46 years old and works as a secretary, has saved no money for her retirement and expects her daughter to take care of her. This unexpected and challenging request has left Caitlyn feeling torn between her love for her mother and the burden of meeting her financial expectations. As Caitlyn navigates this difficult situation, she turns to renowned financial guru Dave Ramsey for guidance. Dave Ramsey's response to Caitlyn's dilemma is straightforward and thought-provoking, urging her to consider her mother's psychological well-being and the potential consequences of agreeing to her request. He firmly believes that relying on one's child for financial support in old age is unacceptable behavior, and encourages Caitlyn to focus on building her own financial stability before considering supporting her mother. However, despite his tough love approach, Ramsey also offers a glimmer of hope by suggesting a way for Caitlyn and her mother to work towards a resolution together, paving the way for an open dialogue and potential understanding. Are you ready to learn more about the insights shared by Dave Ramsey in this situation? Well, stay tuned, because now we're going to dive deeper into this topic. Meet Caitlyn, the grad, with an impossible burden. Imagine graduating with honors and stepping into a career that promises financial stability and growth. That was Caitlyn's reality. With a fresh cybersecurity degree in hand and a promising career path ahead of her, she seemed poised for success. However, as she prepared to embark on this exciting journey, an unexpected curveball was thrown her way. Her mother's revelation that she had saved nothing for retirement and expected Caitlyn to take care of her was a shock. This sudden responsibility threatened to overshadow Caitlyn's bright future. At 23, she faced a heart-wrenching choice: fulfill her mother's request and potentially compromise her own financial security, or disappoint her mother and risk straining their relationship. Caitlyn found herself torn between the desire to honor her family obligations and the need to prioritize her own goals and aspirations. As the weight of this decision pressed down on her, she knew she needed guidance. That's when she reached out to Dave Ramsey, hoping for clarity in this complex and emotionally charged situation. Dave Ramsey's blistering take. When Caitlyn shared her story with Dave Ramsey, he listened intently. His years of experience in guiding people through financial challenges giving him insight into the complexities of the situation. However, his response was not what Caitlyn might have expected. Instead of offering a soft approach, Ramsey decided to tackle the issue head-on. He questioned whether there was a psychological trauma in the mother's past that had led to this extreme expectation. His candid assessment sent shockwaves. He labeled the mother's actions as misbehavior in American culture, emphasizing that relying on a child for financial support during retirement was unacceptable. Ramsey's bluntness extended further when he mentioned the possibility of Caitlyn's mother having applied for Social Security benefits based on her daughter's income, highlighting the potential exploitation involved. These statements sparked controversy, with some applauding Ramsey's straightforwardness and others criticizing his harsh words. However, Ramsey's supporters argued that his candor was precisely what was needed to confront this growing societal issue. They saw his willingness to address the elephant in the room as a catalyst for change, encouraging families to proactively plan for their futures and avoid burdening their children with unrealistic expectations. The emotional trap. Why this destroys relationships. As the discussion continued, Dave Ramsey delved deeper into the emotional aspect of the situation. He, along with his co-host George Kamel, recognized that there was more at play than just financial burden. They described it as an emotional trap, cycle where the mother's demands cause stress and resentment, leading Caitlyn to make impulsive decisions to alleviate the pressure. George Kamel, with his own experiences and family dynamics, emphasized how this dynamic often leads to strained relationships and unfulfilled lives. Ramsey and Kamel encouraged Caitlyn to consider the long-term implications of agreeing to her mother's request, warning that it could lead to bitterness and regret down the road. They highlighted the importance of breaking the cycle of codependency and fostering healthy interdependence within families. As Caitlyn absorbed their words, she realized that her mother's actions were not just about money, but about control, dependence, and fear of letting go. It was a wake-up call that this situation affected more than just their finances. Ramsey's unconventional solution. Caitlyn first. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, Dave Ramsey provided an unconventional, yet impactful solution. He boldly stated that Caitlyn must prioritize her own financial well-being, putting herself first before considering her mother's needs. Ramsey emphasized that Caitlyn had the potential to become a millionaire by the time she reached 40, and that she should seize that opportunity without hesitation. He acknowledged the emotional bond between a mother and daughter, but stressed that fulfilling her mother's request would hinder her own financial freedom and security. Ramsey suggested that Caitlyn use the money she had set aside for her mother's support to invest in her own future, setting her on a path to long-term prosperity. It's a solution, while seemingly harsh, aimed to empower Caitlyn to take control of her life and break free from the shackles of her mother's expectations. By focusing on herself, she could pave the way for a brighter future, one that would allow her to help her mother in a more meaningful way down the line. The path to dignity, empowering mom to save herself. Dave Ramsey's approach went beyond just financial advice. He understood that Caitlyn's mother, at 46 years old, still had the ability to take charge of her situation. Ramsey suggested that Caitlyn invite her mother to attend his financial course, equipping her with the knowledge and tools to save for her own retirement. He offered to cover the cost of the course, demonstrating his commitment to helping both mother and daughter find a path forward. Ramsey explained that this step would not only empower the mother to take responsibility for her financial future, but also instill hope. It would show her that it is never too late to start planning for retirement, and that she had the agency to create a better future for herself. Moreover, this solution encouraged a shift in perspective. Rather than seeing the daughter as solely responsible for her well-being, it promoted a sense of shared responsibility and teamwork. By working together, mother and daughter could build a stronger bond based on mutual respect and understanding. Mom is responsible for mom, not you. Perhaps the most profound piece of advice Dave Ramsey gave Caitlyn was this: Mom is responsible for mom, not you. In these simple words, he encapsulated the essence of his solution, shifting the focus back to where it belonged, on the mother's shoulders. Ramsey reminded Caitlyn that her mother, as an adult, had the duty to manage her own affairs and plan for her own future. It was not her daughter's role to carry that burden. This statement served as a wake-up call for Caitlyn, urging her to break free from the cycle of enabling her mother's irresponsible behavior. It was a call to action for the mother to face her situation, take ownership of her choices, and make positive changes for herself. At the same time, it was a reassurance for Caitlyn, letting her know that she was not responsible for her mother's happiness or well-being. It was a boundary, a firm line drawn in the sand, stating that she would no longer allow her mother's actions to dictate her own life and aspirations. The growing crisis. Are you in this situation? Caitlyn's story reflects a growing crisis in many parts of North America where retirement planning falls through the cracks. Parents like Caitlyn's often assume that their adult children will automatically come to their rescue, failing to recognize the potential strain and resentment this expectation can cause. On the other hand, adult children may feel pressured to conform to societal expectations, even if it means sacrificing their own financial dreams and security. This situation is particularly concerning when it becomes a pattern, with parents consistently relying on their children to meet their financial needs, instead of taking personal responsibility. It raises questions about the values and priorities being passed down and the kind of future we want to create for ourselves and our children. Breaking the cycle for your financial future. Caitlyn's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of planning for our own futures and taking responsibility for our actions, to call for parents to start saving early, explore government assistance programs, and consider alternative living arrangements during retirement. At the same time, it encourages adult children to have open conversations with their parents, setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing their own financial security. It's about finding a balance between fulfilling our familial duties and safeguarding our own well-being, ensuring that we're not sacrificing our dreams for someone else's expectations. By learning from Caitlyn's journey and embracing a proactive approach to our financial futures, we can pave the way for a more secure and fulfilling life for ourselves and our families. So, what do you think of Dave Ramsey's advice to Caitlyn? Do you agree with his straightforward approach? Or do you think there is another way to handle this complex situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share for more insightful content. And remember, you can find more valuable tips and strategies on our channel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep striving for financial success.